The original version of this recipe is my worst viewed video of all time. Let's fix that. So about 2.5 years ago, I made a video making a summer pasta dish, a light pink sauce with some nice fresh summer veggies, and it did terribly. But I think that recipe is worth revisiting. So I'm going to upgrade it a little bit, change it a little bit, and let's see if it does any better. To start, we're going to need some asparagus. Asparagus is at its peak right now in late spring, early summer. So find some good fresh asparagus, and we're just going to chop off the ends and cut it into like 1.5 inch pieces, maybe inch pieces, whatever you like bite size wise. I like to cut it a little bit of an angle as well. And then we're going to put in some broccoli rabe. You could use broccolini. If you want to use spinach, that's also fine, but I think broccoli rabe, the bitterness cuts through the creamy sauce really well. The pieces that are really all stem and no leaf, just cut those off the stem, but the rest you could leave stems on because that'll give you a nice little bit of crunch along with the asparagus. And now we're going to blanch this. In a pot of boiling water, we're going to throw this in. The broccoli rabe and the asparagus can go in together. If you don't have a pot big enough, you can do it separately. That's also fine. And we're going to let this blanch for about 2 to 3 minutes. That should do most of the cooking, and then we're just going to reheat these veggies at the end. Once you're done with that, we're going to pull it out, we're going to put it into a strainer, and we're just going to run this under cold water to stop the cooking process. That way they don't get too soft. You want a little bit of crunch on these. While that was blanching, we're going to prep some other ingredients. I'm going to use sun-dried tomatoes, the dried version here, and then the ones in oil. So we're going to chop these up into fairly small pieces. You don't need to do too much because they'll cook down a little bit in the sauce. And then we're going to use an equal amount of the sun-dried tomatoes that are in oil. If you can't find either, you could use one or the other. That's totally fine. But mix that all together, and that's going to go into our pink sauce and cook down. So to start that sauce, we're going to need a little bit of olive oil in a pan. This is the pasta we're going to use. I just love this Al Bronzo by Barilla. We're using a ziti or a penne. You could use anything like that. The rigatoni, I think, pieces are a little too big, and that was my mistake from last time. But we're going to saute some garlic. Once that's fragrant, we're going to add in about a tablespoon or two worth of tomato paste, depending on how pink you like the sauce or how creamy. Cook that down for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to add in a 1/4 cup of white wine and let that reduce by half. Once that mixes all together, you'll see it becomes a really nice cohesive sauce. We're also going to now throw in the sun-dried tomatoes as this starts to reduce and let them just start to cook into the sauce. For a little extra flavor, we're also going to pour in some of that sun-dried tomato oil right into the sauce, and that will really give this a nice deep tomatoey roasted flavor. Once this has continued to reduce down, we're going to now add the cream, which is why this is a nice pink sauce. It's not a vodka sauce. There's no vodka in it. You have a little bit of that white wine, but add a 1/4 cup of cream. You could add maybe even 1/2 cup of cream, depending on how creamy you want it, and mix that together. To give this another little summery blast, I'm going to add in the zest of 1 lemon right into that sauce and mix it together. You could add the lemon zest right at the very end, but I like to cook it into the sauce because it really kind of deepens that lemon flavor. And now once you're about 2 minutes out from that pasta being al dente, I'm going to throw half those veggies back in. The other half I'm just going to warm up off camera in a saucepan with a little bit of olive oil and just kind of saute them back to warmth and use those as garnish. If your sauce is a little too thick once you add the veggies in, just throw in a little pasta water. Also, if you have a pan big enough, add the pasta right into the sauce, but my little Hexclad here was not going to be big enough to do that. So I poured it all into my saucier, a little bit of pasta water, and now mix this together. I want this still a little watery at this point because you're going to let it cook those final 2 to 3 minutes in this liquid, and it's going to soak that up. It should thicken slowly over time, and we're going to add a little bit of parm at this point also. As you notice, I didn't show you any salt or peppering in this video. People always complain that it's not enough, it's too much, so you add it wherever you want it, and that's totally fine. The cheese will add a little bit of that salt as well, but that's it. That's all you need to do. You can see the sauce is now beautiful. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It's coating the noodles, it's coating the veggies. This is just going to be fantastic. To end this all, I topped it with a little of those sauteed veggies from the side, a little more cheese, a little bit of basil. I also threw some basil in at the very end just to mix with the sauce. You could add the basil at any stage you want, and a little extra virgin olive oil. But now for the important part, let's dive in and see what this tastes like. As you can see, everything is nice and mixed together, so I'm going to try to grab a bite that's a little bit of broccoli rabe, a little bit of asparagus, a sun-dried tomato piece, and get that really cohesive taste, and this is fantastic. I still don't know why that last video did so poorly, but this is definitely a recipe you need to be making, so give this a try. Let me know what you think, and if you like creamy, summery flavors, this is definitely the pasta dish for you.